Hi everyone, this is Jim. Welcome to this Blitz test postmortem, a postmortem of my Blitz game number 368. Kicked off with c4 in this game, the English opening, and we get knight f6, and I play knight c3, just continuing with this usual pattern with the English of trying to dominate the light squares. And my opponent plays the unusual and somewhat rare move b6, so this sets up the English defense with the bishop on b7 here. And now I play an equally rare move g3. It looks like knight f3 is the most common move, so I wanted to check this out a little bit. Knight f3. And then he can continue with e6. It's a little bit unusual, I guess, this knight on f6 already, because a lot of times with the English defense, you want to move the pawns up like this. Pawns on e6 and f5, so you get this nice diagonal for the bishop. So my opponent is playing this in a bit of an unusual way. So let's say he doesn't do e6, he plays bishop e7. This is a line I was curious about. It says just go ahead and play d4 and allow this exchange, which is not good. And either g takes or e takes, but it prefers g takes, taking towards the center. So you build up a big center, I guess, and you're not worried about any attack on your king because you have a lot of control over all this space. Interesting. And anyway, the way I played it was the immediate g3, setting up a counter fianchetto. Here, we can turn off the opening book because we're out of the opening book. He plays here, and I play my knight up. And I figured this would be okay for the same kind of reasons if he takes. Well, now I am forced, one difference is I am forced to take back with the e-pawn, so I have one fewer pawn in the center. This still leaves white with a comfortable position. But yeah, okay, so that other way of playing with the knight first and pawn to d4 is clearly superior to this. Okay, but he didn't take, and that's probably the best move, to not take. Maybe just e6, continuing with this plan of going for the light squares. Also, e6 opens up a diagonal for his dark squared bishop. He played c5. We go bishop g2, and g6. So he decides to go for the double fianchetto. Pretty interesting. I just castle here. And yeah, the computer just, by way of reference, the computer still prefers e6 and trying to go for more center control, although e6 is not quite as attractive anymore because this pawn on c5 blocks that bishop's diagonal. Anyway, g6 was played, and I castle. Bishop g7. And now I decided not to not to go for the double fianchetto, just because if you put all your bishops opposite each other, sometimes nothing happens. They just get traded off, and you get a very dull endgame. So I go for a little bit more of a dynamic choice with d3. It looks like d4 is an interesting idea here too, just pushing the pawn all the way forward. And if he exchanges, I guess I get a little more space in the center. Well, I get some open lines. But this is okay. He castles. And now I play e4. So this maybe is not good. Yeah, you can question this decision. e4 blocks in the light squared bishop. But you always have to. This is kind of a Botvinnik setup, but in the Botvinnik setup, the knight, rather. Let's erase these other guys. The knight is on the e2 square instead of the f3 square, so this bishop gets opened up a little more easily and the pawn gets pushed. I guess that's the point. With the knight on e2, you can push on with f4 and then maybe e5 and open up this diagonal for the bishop. So not quite as good in this case. But it does give me a very solid grip on the center. Black continues with d6. I go h3. I didn't want a knight landing on the g4 square, so I wanted to be able to develop my bishop to e3 without being harassed. So he went knight to c6 here, completing his development. I get my bishop out. So both sides have developed, and it looks like the engine prefers black's position in this case. It looks about even to me, but I think, well, maybe this is just a better bishop. It's got a little more scope than my corresponding bishop, so that's perhaps where black's advantage lies. But black plays e5. Yeah, then it's completely even because he's blocked in his bishop. So whatever advantage he had from the scope of his bishop has just disappeared. Okay, and I play queen d2. I have the option of trading off his dark squared bishop, although it's not clear if I want to do that because like I said, his bishop is now hitting on the c-pawn and not doing a whole lot. Rook e8. I play bishop to g5. Yeah, I changed my mind about trading off bishops and decide to try and get some mileage out of this pin here. He goes knight to d4, putting the knight in the center, and now I just take it. Yeah, so this is where I start to get an advantage again. Just get rid of that knight there, and he's forced to bring a pawn forward, either e takes or c takes. He chose to take with the c pawn. Apparently not as good as e takes d4. Okay, don't know. And then I played knight d5, planning to open up the c file here, and if he takes, which he did. And then I get, well, he gets the rook on the c file first. But, well, I have the bishop here. I guess that's what I've accomplished by this exchange. And I can always contest the c file later, so I'm not going to let him own it. If he threatens to double on the c file and really make some mischief there, I can always oppose it with a rook here. Also, notice my bishop supports the c1 square, which makes it easier for me to get a rook opposing his rook. Okay, he plays... No, it's my turn here. I played g4. I was going to maneuver my bishop around. I was thinking about the move f4, and yeah, I wasn't sure about it. The engine likes immediate rook fc1, rook ac1, or a3, or bishop to h4. Yeah, I thought, well, bishop to h4 is what I was thinking playing with this move. Bishop g4, bishop a4, you know, just bishop h4 gives a couple more squares for this bishop. Maybe come back here and then push the f pawn. He goes queen to d7. And now I go with f4. Yeah, I've been planning this f4 break for a while. So queen d7 was a mistake. Let's see. Rook c5. Yeah, he should continue with this plan of infiltrating on the c file. Rook to c5. And then if I oppose rooks, he has the idea of just leaving it there, because an exchange would repair his pawn structure. So his rook can sit there for quite a while. Okay, so queen d7 was his mistake, and his position starts to go downhill from here pretty quickly. It's kind of funny. f4, and then he went queen b5. Okay, coming out and trying to get some activity, hitting a couple of my pawns, which are currently defended, but they may become weak with a little more with a little help. It keeps my queen tied down defending him. Looks like a4 is a good response. I missed this, but f takes e5 is also a good move, because it's a double attack. I didn't realize this at first, but I'm hitting that knight with two pieces, so the knight has to move. Three pieces, counting my pawn. But the point is, he doesn't have time to take my pawn back. He's got to do something about the knight. And after the knight moves, then I can at least grab another pawn. He takes d6. Also, a4 again looks like an interesting move. Okay, he takes. Actually, let's back up just a second. I am curious why a4 is considered such a good move here. a4. Okay, it's defended by my rook, so his queen has to move. Queen to a5, and now an exchange followed by fe. So getting that in, or b4. Let's try b4. Queen drops back to a6, and then f takes e5. So okay, so f takes e5 is still the move here. The computer is just throwing in a couple of harassing moves to the queen first, and then going with the main plan. Just curious about that one. Okay, so f takes e5. He has to move the knight. He goes to d7. And now I can grab another pawn. And I wasn't sure about the best way to play it, but that turned out to be okay. Knight to e5. He gets a square for his knight. And I've got bishop to f6 here I played. Let's see, rook a d1. Yeah, I'm not sure about this bishop f6 move. Cancel that. Right here. Yeah, I guess I just thought I was better, and I am 2 pawns up and wanted to trade some pieces. So it keeps an edge. It's just not the best move. Let's back up. The best move here is bishop to e7. Okay, supporting the pawn and blocking in this this rook. And notice that there is this latent threat of pawn to d7, although at the moment it's defended by 2 pieces. The queen and the knight are both guarding that square. But after a couple of moves, bishop to f6, he plays knight takes d3, And this is just not on. The queen is overworked here. And I just traded the bishop first. Okay. He takes. And then once again, this a4 move to harass the queen is good. But the simple d7 also works. And just reveals the queen. The knight has gone away. The queen is protecting that square, but the queen is also responsible for guarding the knight, and it can't do both jobs. So so my opponent resigned at this point. Interesting game. Hope you enjoyed the tactics there. Leave any comments you have in the section below, and I will see you again soon. Bye.